hiding, especially the bait fish, all of our little fin forage, our fry, our fingerlings, all that good stuff. But because that water is coming up and it is bringing it into a lot of cover, it's kind of iffy on how you're going to approach these fish. I mean, we got post spawners, we got fry guarders, we got stuff like that. So we have fish either guarding the fry or fish gorging themselves on the fry. But with this water coming up, like I'm saying, it's going to put all this structure, all these tobacco trees, all this brush in the water. That's pretty hairy to start fishing in it, especially with light line, trying to imitate really, really small baits, get these fish fired up. So tonight, kind of want to show you just real quick a couple little baits that I'm going to choose from, at least increase the odds in my favor when I'm trying to imitate small fin bait forage, that type of stuff. You can't talk about small fin bait forage without bringing up the Spro fat flies. These little guys right here are just incredible. Great little bait, come pre-rigged with a jig hook, awesome little sizes, awesome little colors. I believe it's 16th ounce and 8th ounce is what we carry here in the shop. Wide variety of colors. This right here is a baby bass, little bluegill. This time of year, fry, this is a perfect imitator for it. Cool things with these guys is you can do a wide variety of stuff with them. You can throw them out, retrieve them on the surface. You can bottom bounce them. You can stick them on a bobber, which I absolutely love to do. There's different bobbers you can go with, but stick them on a bobber. Target those suspended fish. A wide variety of things you can do. The cool things about fat flies, you're not just going for largemouth. You're not just going for stripers. You're catching bluegill, you're catching crappie, you're catching catfish, you're catching largemouth. You're catching just about any type species that's going to eat a fin bait forage. I guess talking about bobbers, this is one of my favorite things to do with the fat flies, is the slip bobber. Just for the reason that now you're fishing submerged trees. Your base of the trees is about 10 feet. You're noticing on your side scan, structure scan, anything like that, that your fish are suspended about 5 feet off the bottom. Well, you don't want to throw a bait that's going to sink straight down the bottom, come back up, pull it out of their strike zone. Cool thing with the slip bobber is now you can specifically target little areas, little parts and pieces of suspended fish that we normally couldn't do. Normal bobbers, you pop that little pin down, you squish it up, you got a little hook, put your line on it, boom. You're pretty much stuck with that and what you need to go. Cool thing about slip bobbers, and I'll show you a little trick that I like doing, especially with spinning rods, all that good stuff. You have your slip bobber. What you're going to do is, say your fish are 10 feet down. Well, you don't want to have 10 feet of line hanging out in front of your rod to go whip out this cast. Slip bobbers let you do is pretty much run your main line through your bobber. Granted, this is 20 pound, a little bit bigger just so I can show you guys the line and what I'm talking about. What I do is, I put my bobber on. I slide it all the way up to my rod and I forget about it. What I'm going to do, the last little chunk of my line, I'm going to take 6 to 8 inches, cut that off. Okay? Now, tie it to your bait, tie it to fat fly, something like that. I'm just going to do a simple little knot. There's my bait. Okay? This guy's going to slide up, hit that bait, and stop. Okay? Well, you kind of have no judge on where it's at now. You're going to throw it out there. This line's going to fall all the way through, that fly is going to hit the bottom, and you're going to be working and he's going to be bouncing off the bottom. Cool thing with these guys is now what I do, if I'm fishing 15, 20 feet of water, my fish are suspended 5 to 10 feet down, and like I said, I don't want all that line hanging out, all that type of stuff, especially for these smaller baits. This original chunk of line that I cut off comes into play now. This is the important part. You want to be 10 feet down. What you do now, slide your bobber down to your bait. Strip off 10 feet of line. Okay? Now what you're going to do, pinch that line, which is that little chunk, and you're going to do pretty much a bobber stopper or a punch stop, something like that. Those will work, but because you have to slide that guy so far up your line and you're using such light line, it coils it up something fierce. I personally don't like that. I think it stretches it out. It might thin it out because I use a lot of 4-pound and 2-pound when I'm fishing these techniques. So what I do is just use a chunk of mono, chunk of braid, something like that. I'm going to go 10 feet up, 5 feet up, however far I need to go, and I'm going to put myself a little stop. And what I mean is just tie a simple uni knot. So you take your line, you pinch it on your line like this. You're taking this little tag end, you're just making an overhand loop. That is it. Take this guy and go inside your loop. I usually go 4 to 5 times. And what this is doing is making a small little uni knot on your line. Cinch that guy down there real super tight. Cut off your tag ends. Now, with this little knot, you can reel this guy all the way up into your reel, all the way up past everything. This can be sitting 15 feet inside your reel. Now when you go make your cast, you have this much line hanging out the end of your rod. You don't have 15 feet out, 10 feet out. You go make your cast, bobber hits the water, weight starts pulling down the bobber, here comes that little knot, boom, stops. Now your bait is 15 feet down, 10 feet down, 5 feet down, however deep you want to be. Just sit there and let that bobber sit around. Shake it every now and then, it pulls a knot, gets this little bait to start bouncing off the bottom. Quick, easy technique. Something that you can do to target a wide variety of the water column. Slip bobbers, simple uni knot. You can use braid, you can use floral, you can use mono, whatever main line you have. This is a quick little key for this style of fishing. Fat flies, slip bobbers, suspended fish, fish in trees, fry garters, all that type of stuff. This little guy is key. Less is more. Keep it simple. This similar technique falls into a different style of baits that I like to throw.
Now, with your fat fly, Anthony, is it just a baby bass imitator, or do you have shad or bluegill colors as well?
It all depends on the lake I'm fishing. Right now, because we are getting into that post-spawn, I'm more likely going to target baby bass. That's going to be your average bait ball. That's going to be your average fry is going to be baby bass. We are going to have bluegill. That's coming a little bit later on this year. A couple months, I should say. But right now, it's primarily just going to be baby bass. But if you're fishing in an area with shad, you're fishing in an area like that, by all means. They make chartreuse and white. They make blue and white. They make gray and white. A wide variety of colors to imitate. This is baby bass. This is bluegill. They look almost similar, but real subtle differences. Another technique with the slip bobber I like to use on the flick shakes. This is just another technique that you're going to throw in the trees, you're going to throw in the grass, you're going to throw in areas where your reaction baits, your bigger moving stuff can't really get in there. With this style, the slip bobber and a flick shake or a fat fly, something like that, I can be real precise and target little areas and little pockets in and out of these trees and let that bait fall straight down instead of having it pendulum, getting tangled up in all that brush, getting tangled up wherever these little bait fry are going to be. I mean, this technique works along docks. It works along rocks, submerged trees, fence lines, all that good stuff. And with the flick shakes, I like throwing these guys just because they fall a little bit faster than the Yamamotos. I don't know if they add a little bit extra salt or what they do, but these little guys on the fall, absolutely awesome. And there again, if you have a bunch of fry garters, something like that, you throw this guy down there, it looks like a little bluegill coming through all these fry. You might not get a, say, hunger strike, but you're going to get that reaction strike. And because these baits are so small, I fish thin wire hooks. Really, really, really light. I fish a lot of 2 and 4 pound with these techniques. You're not going too deep. You're throwing them in the brush, that type of stuff. So you want to get as most stealthy as you can. You can fish it fly line, just like you would a fat fly if you want. Go out there and fish it like a normal Senko too. Sit out there, target trees, look for that structure, look for the base, that type of stuff.
This is primarily bass.
This is just right now, with this style right here, it's going to be just bass with the flick shake. You might get a bluegill, you might get a bigger crappie, stuff like that. But right now, it's primarily just bass.
Awesome.
Fat flies, wide variety of what you're going to catch on those things. That's why I absolutely love these little
Very,
baits.
very cool baits. We'll catch just about anything. Stripers, crappie, bluegill, bass.
It's just
very, very good technique.
It's insane what you can catch. I was out yesterday, got bass, got catfish, got crappie, same setup, slip bobbers, and those little guys.
Very, very
wide
effective.
variety of fish. This right here is just going to target more of that bass, more of the bigger bluegill / bigger crappie, depending on what fry is getting guarded.
Now, obviously, with these two techniques, including the fat, we know with the fat fly being that's a lighter presentation, you're going to opt for more of a spinning rod.
Yes.
With your flick shake, can you opt for a bait caster? Is it possible?
You can. You definitely can. You get the right bait caster, the right setup, the right rod, you can definitely do it. It's going to be more of a pain in the butt. That's, say, smaller than 5-inch size. It's really going to be easier for you to go on a spinning rod. just because the size line that you're going to be fishing, 2 to 6 pound line, I don't really recommend it going on a bait caster. You're going to be having more headaches and more backlash than anything. If you put it on a spinning rod, take these flick shakes, you can skip them into holes of the trees now. You can skip them into holes of the docks. You can skip them in between boats. I mean, you can skip them in between rocks. Wide variety of stuff you can do now once you go the light line approach with it. Thin wire hooks, if you still want to target suspended fish, run the same exact slip bobber setup on these. Now this bait's sitting there suspended 5-10 feet down, just sitting there shimmying. Looks like a wide variety of things. Could be a little bluegill sitting underneath that fry, waiting for his opportunity. Could be a little baby bass doing the same thing. All it is something in that area that these fish don't like. Something that looks like they're coming up, inspecting their fry, inspecting their babies, that type of stuff. But with this time of year, these bass at our garden have a switch. Happens every year. They start guarding, switch turns on, they start gorging themselves on their fry. They cannibalize the heck out of themselves. That's why I like baby bass patterns or baby bass colors. Watermelons, something with gold or black flake, something with green flake. Get that baby bass bluegill-ish colors. Both of these right here are more of my target-specific little things. My little windows that I see, little opportunities I see, I'm going to dissect more with this.
Are those particular baits, Anthony, something that you can target in both windy and calm conditions?
I actually like fishing them more in windy conditions, just for the fact that if you do put it on a bobber, you do nothing. You throw it out there, that wind chop is moving, this bobber is sitting here bouncing like this, that means your bait is follow suit. It's doing the same exact thing. So you see a little hole in a tree overhanging like this, you fire this little bobber, it shoots just like a bullet, bloop, lands like this bait drops straight down in front of that tree, and the wind current, wind ripples, whatever, it's just sitting there moving that bait. All you gotta do is just sit there with your rod. Watch it, watch it, watch it. As soon as it starts shaking, set the hook. You never know what you're gonna catch. That's the cool thing with the fat fly. Wide variety of things. Could get a big bluegill. Could get a big bass. I mean, everything this time of year is gonna be eating this fin bait forage. From there, we got our precise little things. This is just to go out, catch fish, wide variety of fish, that type of stuff. More target, more specific little areas. If I'm just going to go out there, if I know there's brush in the water and I know there's fry in the water, I'm going to cover water once I get done with this. If this isn't producing, I'm going to turn more to a soft jerkbait, like a Zoom fluke. These things right here, I know everybody uses them, everybody talks about them. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. These right here for post-spawn fry garter bass works phenomenal. With this water level coming up, we're going to have a lot of trees, a lot of stick-ups, a lot of stuff like that. So fishing the bottom is going to be a pain in the butt. We're going to be having to throw baits that ride above these trees or come through, at least cover a heck of a lot easier. Flukes fit the bill. Look like a little bait fish, a little baby bass, a little bluegill, something like that, chasing that fry or just out having fun. My favorite rig to do with these is called a donkey rig. I'll get into that in another Periscope, another technique, another style to fish these. Works absolutely phenomenal. It's just a version to fish 2 flukes at once. Like I said, I'll show you guys another Periscope, how to rig that up, how to do that type of stuff. I just wanted to point out with Zoom, wide variety of colors. They have baby bass. This is their sungill color. Wide variety of sizes too. They have tiny flukes. So if you're around and you want to imitate that small bait forage, go with tiny fluke. Then they have fluke juniors. Then they have super salty flukes. They have fluke magnums. A lot of different varieties and a ton of different ways you can fish these baits. Virtually weedless. The way you rig these things up, I'm real partial to decoy hooks when it comes to these. And I love these worm hooks just for how big that nose of the bait or nose of the hook of it is. What it does is it makes it so that bait doesn't rip out near as easy when it's coming through cover.
Now, for the guys at home, which decoy hook are you referencing to?
This right here is a decoy worm hook, which is the digging hook. It has a little bit extra in the nose, a little bit more meat, so it gets it so it doesn't blow out the nose of those baits. Especially when you're coming through trees, you're coming through somewhat hard cover. It always happens. You get hung up, you start shaking it, it rips through the nose, you toast your fluke. Either you got to heat it up with a lighter, you got to rip off the nose, re-rig it, something like that. By going with this style hook, you get a little bit more meat in the nose of the bait. It cushions a little bit more and doesn't tear up near as bad.
And what size do you prefer?
For super flukes, average size, I like going 4-aught. These guys right here, a little bit more bite to them. The smaller the fluke, the smaller the hook, obviously. But 4/0 with super flukes is money. Money. Gamakatsu makes a ringed hook. If you're one of those guys that just absolutely loves to rip, twitch, and burn, ring hook might suit you a little bit more. Give you a little bit more free action. Because I like fishing either singles or the donkey rig, I don't necessarily need that ringed hook. I feel more in line with it, that I get more action tying direct. I fish these guys on 10 or 12 pound fluorocarbon, 15 pound fluorocarbon, depending on what cover I'm throwing into, what structure I'm throwing into, and what I'm trying to imitate. Granted, Magnum flukes, those guys are huge. They're like 6, 7 inches. That you're obviously going to throw on 12 to 15 pound, maybe heavier. But keep these in mind in the back of your head. Wind starts coming up, you got a lot of grass, a lot of trees, the Senko bite's not necessarily there. Pick up a fluke. Fire a fluke on the shoreline. Fire it back in through those trees. The moment you start seeing all those little bait fish start popping off, you're in the right area. That's the whole concept you want with this. You want this guy to look like he's searching. Make him look like he's looking for this fin bait. He's wanting to eat. You're going to get bass so pedo on this stupid thing, they're going to come up and crush it. Same with stripers. Same with bluegill. You can go tiny flukes and target bluegill and crappie. You can go big flukes, shad style, baby bass style. Go for striper, that type of stuff. Or you could weight them, fish them on the bottom. Cool all-around style bait. Wide variety of colors. I mean, we have, probably 30 different colors.
Want to take the guys over there and show them about the flukes real quick?
Come show you guys real quick. A lot of companies make flukes. You can't beat Zoom. I was showing you guys, telling you guys, wide variety of colors, wide variety of sizes. Everything from small fin bait forage, tiny flukes. Little bitty baby bass. That's exactly what's going on right now. Fit this guy on a little cool spin, underspin by Cooley, something like that. Perfect. You a little bigger bait. Cool thing with Zoom, now you have super flukes. You have regular flukes. You have
pretty much the full bore
patterns. Anything that you want as far as a soft jerk bait, weedless wise, Zoom's more likely going to have the color to fit the bill and the size to fit the bill. Just to show you too, one of the funner ones, Magnum flukes. Here this fall, once these bass really get geared up on eating bigger size bass, this is super fun with the grass, the weeds, all that type of stuff. Great little bait. Now I was telling you guys, wide variety of colors, tons and tons of options. You don't necessarily have to go with the sungill or a baby bass or something. Match the hatch. Kind of go to what your area's been feeding on. I'm a firm believer, and I'll quote this forever. Match the hatch. That is the best advice I could ever give you, is match the hatch. Don't go out there just throwing all this random stuff. Really think about what they're eating. What are they feeding on? What are they chasing? What are they defending? That type of stuff. You start matching those hatches, you're going to do really, really good. With me, all else fails. If I see fry, I'm not getting touched. I'm not getting bit. I'm throwing the fat fly, catching smaller fish. That's fun. Throwing the fluke, might get swirled on here. That's nice too. But if you want to go out there and just wreck stuff, get fish to sit out there and just start spitting, get all these little bait fry to start freaking out, eye out for a popper. This is the Evergreen OB68. This little guy, love the profile size. I'm a big fan of chartreuse. That's just me. I love chartreuse, especially when it comes into hard baits, even soft plastic baits. I love chartreuse. I love the way it puts off in the water. To me, it's just confidence. I'm going to go with something like this. I'm going to target submerged trees, areas where I know there's going to be fry. And I'm going to rip this guy super hard through the open water, next to the trees, that type of stuff. I want to see that fry jumping. I want it scurrying off. I want this guy to look like he is really chasing hard and really working hard for this bait. Odds are you're going to have a pretty decent female or male come up and crush this thing. It's not necessarily going to eat it. It's more or less going to push it away, trying to get it away from its babies, that type of stuff. But post-spawn into that type of stuff, you're going to have bass eaters too. So this looks like just a little vulnerable bluegill, a little vulnerable baby bass, just out there thinking he's a stud, chasing all this fry. You're going to have a bigger bass, bigger something coming up behind it, just crushing this thing. That's another cool technique. just keep in the back of your head. You see fry, you see stuff like that, you're not getting the reaction that you want. Throw something loud, noisy, something that's going to disrupt the surface and get those smaller bait to freak out. You might have a really good shot at just crushing some fish that way. You can go back and forth. With these guys, I like fishing straight braid. I go 30 pound, 40 pound, something like that. Something that's easy for you to throw in a bait caster. You can throw these on spinning if you want to flip them, if you want to be more precise with it and not worry about the backlashes. That's no problem. But I would still recommend going straight braid. But with poppers, wide variety of colors, so many companies out there on the market. This is just one that I pick up just for the fact that I can walk it, I can chug it, I can do quite a few different things with this little guy right here. And it's not a big profile. I'm not throwing out my shoulders, throwing it all day. It's something small, sleek, gets a lot of attention, puts off a lot of commotion. Same with the flukes. You're going to be putting off commotion. You're going to let these fish know that it's there. It's just a different style, more commotion orientated with the popper. You're going to be targeting the same class fish. You're going to be going after those fry garters, baby bass eaters, that type of stuff, but now in a funner size and a funner way to do it, because now you can visually watch these fish come up and crush it. Keep a couple of these baits in mind. With this season coming up and this water coming up, we're going to have so many options to fish now. I am so excited about this time of year, especially with the smaller stuff and all the trees and everything going in the water. Keep these guys in mind. If you love throwing the Senko, pick up a flick shake. If you know you got suspended fish, try throwing them on a bobber. Put on a little uni knot. Get down there and target these suspended fish a different way. I mean, you can even ice jig on a slip bobber. That's a technique that not too many people do. Cast that ice jig out there and rip that ice jig. A lot of those finicky fish, when they're suspended, they don't want a big boat above them. They don't want to hear the graph. They don't want to hear that tick, 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 tick from the sonar. Cast to them. Wide variety of baits. Even the fat flies work just as good. Cast to them. Let it sit there and suspend. Target these fish that your average person isn't targeting. Think outside the box. Start working bobbers. Start figuring out different baits you can put on there. Vertical baits. Cool spins, for example. Great bait on the bobber. Just for the fact that when you rip it, that blade thumps, then he thumps back down, and he sits there. And that little blade's just sitting there turning, turning, turning. Wide variety of little baits. This is just a little something that I gear towards, that I really hold tight in my box when I know this time of year is coming up. When I see the little forage and I see all this bait fish, these are the styles that I gear towards. Light line techniques, stuff like that. Granted, these aren't so much light line. You get the smaller size, they very well could be. This right here is bread and butter. That goes out and catches fish. This is more target specific. This will go out and have fun. Wide variety of fish you can catch on these things. This right here is more bass, but you can get stripers. You can get bigger bluegill. I'm sure bigger crappie will come up on these things if they're eating full-size shad or full-size baby bluegill, something like that. Keep these little techniques in mind. This is... Once you go out there and you start doing this and you start getting a feel for the lighter line and actually comprehending that 4-pound and 6-pound line is pretty darn tough, you're going to have a lot more confidence and a lot more baits are going to be as of use to you now.
Now, with these techniques right here that you pretty much outlined in this Periscope, do you find this is lead-in technique into other techniques out there? Where
Oh yes. This is just scratching the surface as far as what you can do and what you'd want to do. You know what I mean? There is all kinds of baits on the market for fluke style stuff. I mean, there's skippy tails. There's all kinds of stuff to imitate that. There's all kinds of stuff to imitate the flick shake, the smaller bait, stuff like that. These are just subtle techniques and little tricks and little ways to help you expand your tackle a heck of a lot more.
How do you feel about chatterbaits in the post spawn?
Chatterbaits post spawn, absolutely awesome. But when I'm targeting fry garters, something like that, I want something that's going to hang in the water column a heck of a lot more. I don't want something that's either going to rip, follow straight back down to the bottom. I want something I can sit there and target certain zones, certain levels. If I'm beating a bank and I know there's fry garters in and out of rocks, by all means, I'm going to throw a chatterbait. Something even square bill wise, make it look like it's chasing it. But for this style right now, and for what's going to be going on, or at least our local lakes, we're going to have a lot of trees, a lot of grass, and a lot of brush. areas where we can't really throw chatterbaits, too much stuff like that, is why I was more gearing towards this. But yes, chatterbait's a phenomenal choice. Just more open water, rock structure, that type of stuff.
We're located in Hemet, California, and if you're not local to our immediate area, we do have a website, www.lastchancetackle.com.
Yes.
Any order over $50, we offer free shipping. And we have pretty much everything talked about in this particular
Everything
Periscope.
that I'm showing you guys on here right now is on our website. Super easy to use. I mean, this is more likely going to be in the trout panfish section for the bobbers, that type of stuff, because that's technically what you're gearing for. Your average bass guy is not going to grab a bobber and go out and try to catch double digits. You know, trout panfish guys are going to be grabbing the bobbers. But the site's super easy to use. Everything I'm showing you here is on the site. Like Matt just said, all orders over $50 is free shipping. California-wise, I think we do GSO, which is overnight as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, really awesome site. If you haven't checked it out, lastchancetackle.com. And if you guys are in the area around here, Last Chance Bait and Tackle in Hemet, California. Local, 5 minutes away from Diamond Valley Lake. You can always call us.
At 951-658-7410. It's
I've
all
been working
good.
here for a couple years, and I still can't remember the phone number. I know the address, so if you need that, I can hook you guys up with that. But
yes.
like Matt and I are saying, please, if you guys got any questions, give us a call. Tonight was just one of those quick little recap Periscopes. Little teaser into what's happening now with the lakes and all that good
And
stuff.
for those of you in our immediate area, we do have our boat shop located right down the street.
Yes.
Phoenix, Lund, Low, and a new addition, Skeeter.
Yes, we just got Skeeter boats. We're Yamaha and Mercury certified as well. We do motor guide service, all that good stuff. 5 seconds from here. So, I mean, it is literally right down the street.
Stop in, drop your boat off, walk to the tackle shop.
It's great.
And it's right down
great.
the street.
Come in, look around. By all means, pick our brains. That's what we're here for. Like I said, just wanted to say thank you guys for coming in tonight, viewing on the Periscope, doing all that good stuff. Like I said, it was just a little quick one for tonight. Just a couple little key baits, a little scratch on the surface, kind of get your guys' gears turning for this bite coming up, especially with all the
TR Fishing. We do have a website, lastchancetackle.com. We're located in California as well. Actually,
right there.
Check these jokers out right here.
Please, by all means, go on our website. If you can't happen to find anything on the website or you got questions, by all means, call the shop. Matt, I can definitely answer any of your questions. We can help you out. Oh, saltwater trips. Megan actually just got the paper. All of our trips are booked. So whenever you guys can, cruise in the shop. We'll put you down, deposit a spot for it. I believe we're doing overnight, and I think she's got a 3-day that she's been doing too. Cruise in, give us a call. We can either go through the trip schedule with you, or you can cruise in and see the trip schedule with you. It's going to be absolutely awesome season. Bluefin are already here. So if any of you guys want to get out and get salty, Matt, me, and Megan all go on the boats. We all help deckhand. We help tie hooks. We're out there to catch you guys fish. So please come in, book a trip. It's going to be an awesome trip.
And that's one thing I actually wanted to kind of touch on real quick. We do a lot with the bass fishing type techniques, baits in mind. If you guys want to hear anything about saltwater, whether it be throwing surface iron, fishing tuna, fishing local calico bass, bay bass, let us know, and we will gear our Periscope specifically to you guys. We do a lot more than just simply bass fish around our area. We're very well versed.
Yes, I mean, we are an inland shop. We're an hour away, but we get a lot of traffic coming from salty guys going either up north or down south. And we fish the salt as much as we can. We could probably help you guys out quite a bit. Like I said, we are booking trips. We are going to do all that type of stuff. We do really dabble in with the salt. So just keep that in mind. We're not just your one average shop. We do trout, we do bass, we do crappie, we do saltwater. Our section of saltwater, our irons and everything is really stocked up. You guys should cruise in. Give us a call at the shop. Any questions, just let us know.
Absolutely. And for the local guys, I don't know if you have heard the news, but Metropolitan Water District is putting water into Diamond Valley. As of the end of March, we were below 300,000 acre-feet of water. And by the end of this month, they expect to be putting the lake up to 360,000 acre-feet. They're going to leave it launchable at 360,000 acre-feet for several months. After that, they're going to basically kind of reevaluate what they have from up north to give us, and there's very well possible we'll be at 400,000 acre-feet. It's not going to be set in stone, but at least will be launchable by the end of this month and into next month. So keep your ears open. Not sure what the tournament situations are going to be like, but definitely keep your ears open. We've been waiting really, really long. So I just cannot wait to get back on the lake, as with Anthony and everybody else here at Last Chance Tackle.
So excited. And speaking of tournaments, if you guys are wanting to get into tournaments, if you guys are wanting to fish around with a great group of guys, Temecula Valley Bass Anglers, great club, great group of guys.
2 main clubs in our area, definitely. Lake Elsinore Bass Club, Temecula Valley, Paris Valley, Southland.
Get into a club. Get into fish with these guys. If you don't have a boat, it's totally cool. Be a non-boater. Hop on the back of the boat. The amount of knowledge you can learn from these local guys is just insane. Insane. We have a lot of local top sticks. Cody Spetz, all those guys. Phenomenal anglers. Justin Briggs, all those guys. Phenomenal anglers. Everybody local-wise, I mean, we got a pretty good group of guys. So by all means, please, call the shop. Cruise in, pick our brain, go through some baits. If you want a club, we can recommend a club. If you want to catch fish, we can help you catch fish.
You know, since we're right about the end of our Periscope, why don't we just go and take a quick walkthrough on our shop real quick, just to kind of give some of these people a heads up to, you know, show that we're not just simply bass fishing. Let's start over here. You might walk.
Well, just to show you guys, with the season here, even though you don't really, most bass guys don't like getting salty, but for your salty guys, we have a wide variety of rods. We deal CalStar, Seeker, Phoenix, Daiwa. I mean, a lot of wide varieties of sticks. And one to show you, just because not too many people have been seeing it, Matt Newman from iRod. This is his new inshore stick. This is a stick that not too many people have been seeing, let alone even knew that he made. This thing right here for the price, you're looking about $230. Phenomenal stick. Calico, yellowtail, throw poppers for tuna, that type of stuff. This would fit the bill perfect. And it's a stick that nobody really knows that we have. Like Matt was saying, we're not really geared just towards bass. We do a wide variety. I mean, we throw surface irons here. We got flat falls. We have all your surface irons and yo-yos. We got Colt snipers, all that good type of stuff. I mean, we target a wide variety of fish and a wide class of fish.
And with these tuna coming closer and stuff like that, obviously our flat falls, we still have a ton of stuff we're actually waiting on getting, but we're one of the few places that'll still have heavy stock on flat fall.
Yes. Yes.
And it's taking us a quick stroll down our terminal tackle wall. That way they can get an idea that we do a lot with, obviously, Voss weights, Team Davies, bullet weights. We have an extensive wall, as you can see right here. Everything from fishing line from all different types, fluorocarbon, braid, mono, all the way up.
Flip around. I mean, wide variety of saltwater plastics as well. We deal with Big Hammer. We have MC. We have Kalins. We have Gulp. So, I mean, we can pretty much fit the bill for whatever you guys want to do. Whatever style of fishing you want to do, by all means, call the shop, cruise in. Like Matt and I are showing you, we have a pretty decent sized shop. We have a wide variety of stuff that could help you out and fit the bill.
We carry some EcoPro tungsten, but one thing that we will do just for you guys, if you want something absolutely specific to your needs, give us a call at the shop and we'll special order for you. If there's like one particular weight that we may not use out here, but you use heavily where you're from, we'll do everything in our power to try and get you that what you need. So you want to wrap it up or you want to kind of keep going? It's up to you.
Well, we can wrap it up. I think we got a good judge.
Perfect.
We'll just walk through a little bit more of the shop, kind of give everybody a little bit of a teaser.
Everything in our shop we actually have by gondolas. And what we'll do is we'll have, like you see, our spinnerbait gondolas, buzz baits. We have them all geared towards specific needs and purposes. So it'll make a shopping experience easy.
Real user-friendly. Come in, everything's wide open, everything's available to you. You can look around wherever. If you can't find it.
Let me go back over to chatterbait. With our chatterbait section, we carry quite a bit of Picasso, chatterbaits. We have the lovers, we have standards, we have the FX shock blades right here.
These have been absolutely phenomenal lately.
And it's pretty much whatever you would need. Lots of Z, man. We like those baits a lot. With the Project Zs, are actually really, really nice. One of my favorite chatterbaits or vibration baits is the Picasso Shock Blade. These guys right here offer a heavy, heavy hook and heavy models. I can burn these things and keep them up high in the water column. Very, very good and do really well with them. We
appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to wrap this one up. Just wanted to give you a little bit of little teaser and a little scratch on the surface of what to expect with this water coming in. A couple little baits that I geared towards to catch fish, kind of increase my odds. Once again, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Last Chance Bait and Tackle, lastchancetackle.com. Thank you guys very much. Have a good night.